All right, how's everybody doing today? I had this out, getting ready to go do some shooting with it this weekend, and got to thinking about it. That's a 16 gauge left barrel, 9.3 by 72R rifle barrel on the right side, and I got to wondering. These things were very popular all the way back to even I've seen some of these in cap lock, muzzle loaders, all the way up until even now. I think they're still used in South Africa. They're still somewhat common over in Europe, or as far as I know. But I wonder why during the Old West these things weren't more popular. You take a man that's going out west somewhere and gonna settle on a piece of land, homestead it or whatever. With one of these, he could have had a shotgun and a rifle. He could have used it for everything from hunting big game to small game and birds. And like I said, these aren't that common in the United States, or at least I'm always on the lookout for them. I see a handful of them here and there on GunBroker. They're usually way out of my budget. Sometimes I run across something like this where I pretty much had to rebuild this whole gun, and I can pick it up cheap enough where I can afford it. And that's how I've got the two Cape guns I've got and the drilling I've got. They were just ones that needed work, and I was able to pick them up cheap enough. But I often wonder why these combination guns, whether it be the drillings or the Cape guns, why they weren't more popular. If I was a quote-unquote could only have one gun for in a survival, I'm not talking shit hits the fan or without rule of law or the end of the world as we know it or any of that stuff. If it was just a survival, challenge or something like that, where I had to go for, a month or 6 months or a year into the middle of nowhere and survive, I mean, this would be perfect. I could use the shotgun barrel for, like I said, squirrel, rabbit, birds, any of that type of game, and still have a rifle barrel for hunting large game. And you could use it for self-defense using the rifle barrel and back it up with the shotgun barrel. And like I said, I don't know why they weren't more common. Obviously, I mean, I haven't seen a whole lot of them in the history books or like in museums where Pat Garrett or Billy the Kid or any of them, had these. So I'm not sure why they weren't that popular. This one is my favorite one, and it's not perfect by any means. It's got a lot of little engraving on it, kind of fancy, but this thing is so extremely light and just well balanced that although this one's a lot harder to find shells for, I mean, I can find 16 gauge birdshot, but I can't find any 16 gauge slugs or buckshot. In 9.3 by 72R, I have to reload it because you're just not going to find it like anywhere locally around me. The 16 gauge, like I said, you can find that in birdshot, but that's it. But this thing is so light, and it's nitro proof. But you look, that rifle barrel is as thin as a shotgun barrel. It's not super thin on the breech end, but in 9.3 by 72R is a low pressure cartridge anyway. Even the nitro version, smokeless version, is just above probably a 30-30. I mean, it'll kill anything I'm going to run across in Michigan just fine at 100 yards or less. I wouldn't worry about it. But like I said, this gun is just so light, so well balanced, and so handy that I really, really like this one. As far as these combination guns, this is probably my favorite one. The 38-55 has a little more knockdown than this. And being 12 gauge, you can find just about any type of shell you want for that. But this one is just, like I said, I did this video because that just popped in my mind and I was thinking about it. And maybe some of you might know more than me why these just never seem to be real popular. I mean, it wouldn't be any harder to make one of these than a side-by-side shotgun, because you don't have to worry about regulating the barrels as much as you'd have to on like a double barrel rifle. So if anybody knows why these weren't more popular in the United States, let me know. I know that my Henry Piper combination Cape gun, the 12 gauge 38-55, that was actually made over in, I want to say England, by Henry Piper, but you could order them through the Sears catalog back in the 1920s is when that one was made. So I mean, it wasn't like they weren't available in the United States. They just never seemed to take off in popularity like they did over in the European countries. But hope everybody has a good day, and like I said, that was just a thought I had and figured I would ask you guys. But that's the gun right there. Just a little light, real handy, kind of fancy combination gun. So have a good one.